Alright, today I thought I'd go over something real quick. It's when these mods go bad, and I'm talking about the Game Boy Color here. So this is my Game Boy Color. It looks pretty much normal, but it's not. If I turn it on, you won't be able to see anything. Yeah. I tried doing a mod on it, didn't quite work out, and then I ruined the screen, so then I got another screen and I still got nothing. If I turn it on, you can barely see anything. I mean, you could sort of. And that's just not going to work when you're trying to load up something, you won't be able to read it or see anything. Now, I can't read any of what's going on here. I'm just choosing anything, whatever comes in. But as you can see that I cannot play like this. There's no way I would be able to play like this. Yeah, it's just not gonna work out. So I didn't want to leave you guys with there's no such thing as adding a little light to your Game Boy Color without what about if you don't want to rip it apart? What about if you don't know how to solder? What about if you can't get the kit because you have to order it online? One of those situations may be yours. So there are other ways. If you see any of these in the wild, these two here, they're both great. Especially this one. This one's my favorite here. If you look there, is the brand. Very nice light for the Game Boy Color. It's not common at all. It gets its power from the actual port, and it's even got an extra one over here, so that way you can still link it. So it gets its power from the link cable, and then you can still link it from over here. And what I love about this light is that if you don't like that, you can also use it like this. If you look right there, in there is where the HDMI, is where the LED is. And then you can see it's called the zoom light. And here's the brand, Nyko, I think that may be, not too sure. And then you just put this back in here. It's like gots to get wedged in a little place here. Pretty cool design, and it looks really awesome when connected to the Game Boy Color, especially if you have a black one. It looks pretty cool, like you got a little TV. It's like you got a little CRT, and then you can turn it on and you can play your game. And it's a really cool light. I love it a lot. I think it's one of the coolest lights out there for it. Possibly the best. And if you don't want to play like that, you can also play like this. And if you look, you've got light there. So very nice. Very well built. Even the way it goes on, it's just awesome. Very cool light. The zoom light by Nyko. I think this is Nyko, one of those two. NYKO, but it really is. It's an awesome light. I love the way it slides on. It's just a really nice light and overall. And it's kind of cheap online if you have to go online. It's not too expensive. It'll run you about $10. And then we go on to a cheaper one, which is this Pelican one. You see that? It says Pelican there, if I can get it to focus. So we got Pelican, which is not bad when it came to some of their stuff back in the day. And this one goes right on the Game Boy Color, and I like the way this one goes on. It's not too bad. But if you don't do it right, it can scratch up your screen. And how this one goes on is something like this. Yeah, it's not as easy. Getting this thing on there is not too simple. I think it goes on here like this. See if I can get this on here for you guys. I don't even remember how it goes on. Don't really use it. There we go. Okay. But this one will scratch up your screen, so you gotta be careful with it. And this is what it looks like after. And if I have turn it on, you can see it's got light here, and it lights up your screen. Pretty good too. Pretty good. I have the Game Boy Color off, so see, I mean, you can still see the light. Looks pretty good. And it works great. It's a little magnifier, but it doesn't matter. It does the job perfect for darkness. And it's a little big and a little ugly, but anyways, it's in the dark, and it really don't matter as long as you can play your game. A little difficult to get off too. It probably looks more difficult than it is. Let's see if I get this guy off right now. There we go. The only thing about this one, it kind of scratches up here a little bit. Not a lot, but it could. So I kind of gave up on the whole front light thing. Didn't work out for me at the moment. But I'm thinking about front modding it again with another light. Probably a Game Boy Advance light. And so this is what I end up using instead. And I guess this is probably why I gave up on the whole finding a solution to the problem that I have with the Game Boy Color. I think because I got this kind of fixed the problem, you know? Even though the aspect ratio's a little bit off, it's still a really great way to play. You can see I'm playing the built-in games that are in it right now. So it comes with Contra and a list of others. And I believe I paid about $40 for it. Had it for over a year, over a couple years already. Works great as long as you don't abuse it. So if I turn it off, slide in this EverDrive, it's the X5, pop it in, turn it on. And if I go to this, you can see I have Game Boy and Game Boy Color. We'll go into Game Boy Color. Oh, well, we're going to Metroid. Well, yeah, we'll just go to Metroid. And you can pretty much see why I gave up on the whole trying to mod it, because this is pretty satisfying. Yeah, as you can see, this is pretty nice looking. Let me see if I get this to focus. See that? Nice. Nice picture. It's got a TFT screen, I think, or one of those screens. It sounds, I think it was TFT or something like that. So it's got a pretty good screen in there. Not too bad. And if I turn it off and then turn it back on again, we'll go into something else. Another Game Boy Color. You know what? We'll go back out. Let's see. Alone in the Dark. Now that game is difficult to try to work if you don't have the cartridge. So we'll see if it can pull it off. Sounds pretty good so far. Sounds great. And it does run on here really well. And there's like a really big intro here, but you can see it looks really good. You're able to play this in the dark like the way you would want to, in the night before you go to bed maybe, you know. And you don't have to worry about having any of those weird lights that I showed you. Well, they're not weird, they're just retro lights, you know. And you can see, you can pretty much see your game really good. And before this, to see something this with this much quality, at least out of a Game Boy Color game, and it runs great off this EverDrive too. But that was just real quick. But before you wanted to play Game Boy Color games, you would have to deal with either some type of front lit screen, or you can use a Game Boy SP with a backlit screen. That would be the only way to play these kind of games with that kind of quality, at least backlit and handheld. And I just pressed start and it loaded up the last game I was playing. So before, like, that was the only way you were able to play on this. Something like this. But this little guy was definitely worth getting, so you might want to look at one of these. Plays all sorts of games and even EverDrives. So I'll be back later with a video on trying to mod this guy with the front light somehow. Yeah, I'll be buying some Loca and another screen, but I'm probably gonna go with the Game Boy Advance screen. So stay tuned for that one. Thanks a lot.